let's take a look next at the drawing tools we have in OMG Brush. So to get to the settings of drawing tools, you press on this little button down here that looks like a pen, and it opens up the drawing tools. Up here we have the selection of the brush type. We have the flat brush, which is the brush I've been showing already. And it's basically flat. As you see, if you look at it from the side, it's just a flat plane. But at the moment we also have the other brush, the sphere brush, and this one is a bit different. Let's choose another color quickly and demonstrate this brush. And this brush has a volume to it. It's basically comprised of a lot of little spheres, and if you look at it from the side, it still has a thickness to it, so it's actually three-dimensional. The main difference between them is not only that one of them is three-dimensional and the other one is not, but also the flat brush is very performant. You can basically draw a lot of things with it without the canvas slowing down. The sphere brush at the moment is not very optimized, and you can still draw complex things with it, but the performance is limited, so you cannot probably not draw 1,000 lines with it that are of high complexity. But in the future I will build a more performant one, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so the next thing is, as you see, we have different settings for both of them. Let's go through all the individual settings. So brush size is pretty self-explanatory. You can have either a big brush or a small brush, a very finely detailed one. And then we have the pen pressure. If you turn it on, which is it is turned on by default, it basically controls the pen pressure based on, or the size of the brush based on the pen pressure you use. Pretty self-explanatory, works like in other apps. Let's choose another color now. Oops. Next we have paint in front. This one only applies to the flat brush. And what does it mean? So it doesn't make sense for the sphere brush because it's three-dimensional, but since the flat brush is two-dimensional, when you start drawing and then you draw with another color on top of it, paint in front makes sure that it's painted in front of the other brush. This works as long as you don't turn the camera. If you click on paint, and if you disable paint in front, then it will basically paint behind. So let's choose another color to demonstrate it. Now it paints behind all of these things. So yeah, depending on your use case, you want to use paint in front or paint behind. And then a really powerful feature, it's also turned on by default, is adapts to zoom. What does it mean? So for example, if you now zoom out and you start painting, the brush size is always relative to your zoom level. But if you would turn this feature off, turn it off, then the brush size is absolute. So it doesn't matter if you zoom in or out, it will always stay the same thickness. But the danger is if you zoom really far out, you don't even see what you're drawing anymore because it becomes so thin. And if you zoom really far in, then it becomes huge. So yeah, if you're drawing big worlds and want the flexibility to zoom in and zoom out to add detail, then use adapts to zoom. If you want consistent brush size, then disable adapts to zoom.